Welcome, everybody. This is the top 5 wide receivers of Week 6 in the NFL on OwnersBox. If you have not signed up for OwnersBox yet, use the link in our description and use code MENLY when you sign up and play the best DFS platform. Soda, who are our honorable mentions this week for wide receiver?
It's a great question. Before we get into the top 5, definitely got to mention George Pickens. It's hard. We put him in the top 5 last week. It's hard not to put him in the top 5 again this week. Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to go into details. I'm supposed to just go through honorable mention.
Yeah, no problem. But we also love Justin Jefferson. Think he might get scripted out a little bit this week. We're hoping for a Vikings blowout. So that's another guy you can look into. But let's jump right into the top 5. Number 5 is Seahawks receiver Tyler Lockett. He was limited at practice today with a hamstring injury, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Tyler Lockett has been Mr. Consistency, and we are finally starting to believe in the Seahawks offense. There is a 50.5 point total in this game against the Cardinals, so it could be a high-scoring affair. They are trusting Geno Smith to throw the ball, and they are only 2.5 point underdogs to the Cardinals, so I think this could be a great option at receiver.
And they're short at running back, too. Keep that in mind. So they are going to have to get the passing game working. Like you said, shootout. I was not a Geno Smith believer, but he keeps doing it game after game. At some point, if you do it enough times in a row, you're just good.
Yeah, I believe Geno Smith is number 5 fantasy quarterback so far this year. That could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is number 5. So, yeah, he has been playing very good.
Yeah, and I like Lockett. Obviously, if for some reason he ended up being out, you just counter to Metcalf would be a must play. But Tyler Lockett healthy, give him the play.
Absolutely. That brings us to number 4. We're staying in that same game, and we are going with Marquise Hollywood Brown. This guy has been a target machine, double-digit targets in each of his last 4 games. We look back to that Rams game. He had 14 catches on 17 targets. Him and Kyler Murray have some sort of connection going on, and I think Marquise Brown could be a great play this week.
And it goes back to the Oklahoma days. And this is the last week you get Marquise Brown without DeAndre Hopkins. Take advantage of it. He's going to see double-digit targets. He's going to have a big game in a shootout. Take advantage before D-Hop gets back.
That is a very good point. D-Hop is back next week. So Marquise Brown last week, possibly being the number 1 receiver. He might stay at that number 1 spot, but D-Hop will take some targets from him moving forward. Next up, we got Bengals receiver Jamar Chase. Soda, what are your thoughts on Jamar Chase?
You know as well as I do. When you first told me this play, I said no. I said terrible play. So he's going up against Lattimore. But when you really think about the matchup and what Lattimore is good at, he's good at stopping big physical receivers. Jamar Chase, he's not big and physical. He's quick and fast. If you start looking at what those types of receivers do to Lattimore, that's not a concern. He's due for a big game. I'm sure you got some stats to back that up.
Yeah, Jamar Chase is looking good this week. I think this Bengals team is desperate for a win, and they're going to be looking to put some points on the board. Averages double-digit targets a game, 6 red zone targets. That's nearing the top of the league. You see this number right here. Even though he's going against Lattimore, New Orleans has not been good against the pass. We saw Justin Jefferson, his old college teammate, go off on Lattimore. I'm not too worried about the matchup, and I think Jamar Chase could have a big week this week. And I think Cincinnati is desperate for a win, so I think they'll live up to it. Next up, we got a player that Sam just talked about at number 2, and that is Mike Evans going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Soda, what do you got on Mike Evans?
Yeah, this was the play you really liked. Easy one to talk me into. I know they got Chris Godwin back. Julio Jones still probably not going to play. But Mike Evans and Tom Brady have some sort of connection in the red zone. They find each other, but the beautiful thing about Mike Evans is he's not just a red zone target. He is also a deep threat for them.
Yeah, I love Mike Evans almost every single week. I don't think his salary is quite where it should be. You see him priced under here. He's priced under Debo. Tyreek's in a walking boot. So I think value-wise against the 22nd ranked defense against receivers, I think he is a great play, and I also think he's a great stacking option. I think they also have Tom Brady priced way too low for the amount of passes and big numbers that he's going to put up. So keep an eye out for our number 2 receiver, Mike Evans, this week. And that brings us to our number 1 receiver this week. Last week we had Cooper Kupp. This week we have Stephon Diggs in what is the highest projected point total of the week, going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Soto, what do you think about Stephon Diggs?
I mean, you just said it. This is the spotlight game of the week. It's projected to be the highest scoring game. And Gabe Davis is a great vertical threat, but Stephon Diggs is the main target for Josh Allen. And in a shootout like this type of game, they might throw the ball 60, 70 times. So you know what's going to happen if they do that. Diggs is going to see double-digit targets. He's going to have a huge game. Chiefs pass defense, nothing to be worried about.
Yeah, we all remember the game last year. Many of us called it the best football game we ever watched. It was definitely the best football game I've ever watched, Chiefs and Bills, and I think we are going to get the same treat this year. Diggs has 5 touchdowns on the year. That's tied for first among receivers with Kupp, I believe, and I think he's in for a big week, and I think we are in for a great game with this Bills and Chiefs game. So to recap, we have number 5, Tyler Lockett, number 4, Marquise Brown, number 3, Jamar Chase, number 2, Mike Evans, and our number 1 receiver this week on OwnersBox is Stephon Diggs. We hope everybody has a great week over on OwnersBox, and stay manly, everybody.